I was just thinking about people pleasing. Um, yeah, I was thinking about people pleasing because something was kind of dawning on me from my past. With this eclipse coming up, um, you know, and I guess because Mercury's in retrograde, well, not because it's in retrograde, but it being in retrograde speaks to how it's a time when a lot of us are choosing to go inwards and reflect. Um, and I just I feel like I just got some insight on some behaviors from the past. When I was in high school, I would, people who were in my immediate friend group at the time, in like let's say grade 10, um, when I would see these people in public, okay, so these are supposed to be my friends, people that, let's say I'm having a birthday party, you know, top five that I'm going to invite to this birthday party. This specific person that I'm speaking about in this situation, he would have been in that top five to come to the party. He was a lovely person, and we had a good rapport with each other. Um, it's funny because even as I said that, I'm like, did we? I mean, I think it was a very superficial rapport. It was good, but superficial. Libra, right? The shadow side of Libra. And so I was remembering how when I was younger, initially I was remembering about someone else, but then he came up too, how I saw him outside of school. It was still school, but it wasn't outside of our routine of when I generally see him, what's supposed to happen. Outside of that, at I think it was like a play at the school, and we were all it was an auditorium, and I saw him. He didn't wave at me or anything, but I saw him, and I think he kind of looked at me and I looked at him because I think I was relying on him to communicate to me what he wanted from me. So if he smiled, then I could smile back. I could just mirror it. If he waved, I could, do a greeting back. And he saw me, and I didn't do anything. I kind of averted my eyes. And it's a habit that I had, and still have. I'm working on it, right? So I don't do this so much, but it's a habit that I have and had more strongly then. Um, And obviously, I bet he took offense to that. Probably, most likely, right? People would. Why wouldn't they? I mean, I think a very strong person internally wouldn't take offense, but, generally speaking, we do these things, right? I would take offense, even though I'm someone who does the behavior. It's because I understand, at least emotionally, that it's not like I don't like him. That's not why I'm doing the behavior. So it's easy for me to see that, but obviously, someone else wouldn't because they're not in my mind. And so, I was thinking about my relationship with this person and how it's always been a very superficial relationship, and we were basically friends for like 5 years, kind of thing. And it was just a sort of fading out of each other's lives too. It wasn't anything big. Um, and I was thinking about how there was something else that happened where I was kind of embarrassed at school once, many times, but like, and it's not like I had a poor childhood or whatever in that regard, but I just have a lot of Uranus energy. Okay. And that happened, and he was kind of making light of it afterwards. But that specific issue, it kind of really, I took a lot of sorrow from it. So when he was kind of making a joke about it, it felt like he wasn't really concerned with my feelings. But again, all this is very superficial, very light. He probably didn't mean anything by it, like. But in observing this specific relationship and little memories that are popping up, obviously the negative ones, there are good times too. Actually, now that I think about it, hmm, I can't psychoanalyze anyone else, right? But I feel like maybe I also made him a bit I don't know. I don't know. Because it's funny. It's weird, actually, because I remember in grade 9, someone tried to, someone would kind of pair us, say, oh, you guys should get together. It's just how kids talk in high school. And I wasn't like particularly attracted to this person, but I could tell that he was not feeling me, right? So he very much he just kind of laugh it off and shut it down. And I thought that was fine. And it is fine. But, I'm just thinking about different things and trying to create one solid picture. But one never can, right? Because we don't see all the sides of the situation. Anyways, I'm reflecting on all of this, and it's not a big deal. It's literally like the first time I've thought about it in years. There's so many other things I've thought about in my life that need, attention. But I think this eclipse and what it has to do with this axis between Aries and Libra is helping me see how I don't have to feel guilty about that behavior that I would do, that I would put into action. I spent a lot of time feeling guilty about it and feeling bad that, for instance, with another woman, I saw her in the street. She was a boss, but also someone who's really cool with me at work. Like, we had a really cool rapport, like really cool. And I saw her and she waved at me, and I pretended that I didn't see her. So I was looking, but I pretended like, oh, so maybe because it was at a distance. My hope was that she would be like, oh, well, she just didn't see me. But later on, when I went to work, she was kind of like, why didn't you say hi to me? I was waving to you. I know you saw me. It was a very upfront thing. And I commend her for even doing that, um, and I wasn't at a place where I was emotionally mature to just say, yeah, I did see you and this is why. Because I didn't even understand why I did these things. I actually liked her. I liked her a lot, but this is something I would do. She's awesome, really awesome lady. Really, really awesome. She was really, really kind too. Yes, but just now I've seen how I shouldn't feel guilty about that stuff because it's helping me now see that I wouldn't communicate, and I still don't, right? But I don't communicate with people from a place of genuine connection. And if that's the case, I do my people pleasing because it's a trauma response, right? To whatever happened. Everyone has their trauma responses. This just happens to be the one that I use. And so I do this to cope because I'm on when I'm at those specific places and I'm expecting to see these people and understanding that, okay, this is how I move through the world in communicating with these people. This is what they want from me. This is all my own projection. Maybe they don't want any of this stuff from me, but I feel, okay, if I play this role with this person, we'll have a smooth relationship. And that's what I thought was, I guess, what a relationship is and what it should be. That's what I thought, because I was disconnected more so from my feelings. But a relationship, obviously speaking, right? I mean, if someone had said this years ago, I would probably be like, oh, well, of course a relationship is more like that, because I was all up in here. But in terms of how I feel, I didn't understand emotionally, feeling wise, that's a relationship is more than that. It's greater than that. And for a relationship to be greater than that, it doesn't mean that, um, I trauma dump on, my closest friend, which I didn't exactly do. I think I did do it maybe once or twice, to be honest, like just actual dumping, like, oh, yo, she had to deal with a lot. But I also mean in terms of the way I move with the person. So once I got to a space where with, those two or three, maybe two closest friends I've had in this world, whenever I got to that space of feeling comfortable enough with them, I was different around them because I was being more like myself. But it wasn't even myself. It was my traumatized self. It was myself who was like, oh, okay, I don't have to wear the mask with her. But I thought not wearing the mask was just being the accumulation of all the stress and issues that I was facing. And so I probably became someone who wasn't very fun to be around because I was acting like my false self, not like my real self. My real self is a lot like now, right? And she's probably even happier than the person I am currently, but I'm in a much better place. So anyways, I was doing the genuine thing but like behaving with all of my ickiness, because that's all I could afford to give at that time, I suppose, right? She didn't actually, both of them didn't actually get to see the actual me, right? But it's okay. That was the nature of the relationship, and it needed to happen for all of our growth, right? Those two best friends and myself. Um, yeah. What am I saying again? People pleasing. Yeah, I mean, hey, even the fact that I had to behave like that eventually with them when I take off my mask, right? Um, it speaks to the fact that I was wearing a mask. And it's funny. Anyways, too many tangents in this story, but I'm gonna do another one. My drama teacher when I was in high school, there are, quite a few, several, but this one in particular who never really seemed to care much for me. But I think I'm understanding it a bit more now. And it always bothered me that he didn't seem to care much for me. But the reason he didn't was because I think I was wearing this mask. And he was quite an authentic person, frankly speaking. I mean, it's not like I really knew the guy, but he really seemed to be authentic. He didn't care what the students thought about him, what anyone thought about him. And people like were mean. Like there were so many rumors and like, about this teacher. But he seemed to not care enough, let's say. And it's funny, it's weird. He was the only one who actually saw me past the mask. And I think maybe that's what minorly, I'm going to say minorly. He really, I mean, honestly, like I went back later and I was like, I think he just forgot, forgot that I was ever a student. He's like, who are you again? Like, so I say this like minorly. But what I appreciate about him is that he actually saw me past the mask. I did this one performance because I was in a drama program in grade 12. Everyone in the class, it was all routine, right? I did it with this woman who's actually quite a beautiful actress. No, sorry, I mean beautiful. She's beautiful physically, but I mean like she's a good actress, okay? It's just understood. And we, just got to a place where you're always saying, "Oh, so and so's so good," because she is. So I was doing this dialogue, this scene with her. And of course she did it very well because that's just, she was a very good actress naturally. And no one in the class basically, from as far as I remember, saw that I did a good performance. It was only him who tuned into it. He was like, "Yeah, Vanessa." Oh, sorry, I just used her name. But honestly, hey, I'm saying good things about her. So Vanessa, yeah, she did really well. But he was like, "Yeah, but also Ruby, you did that was really nice. That was really good. Because that was the only performance that I can remember that I did where I was actually being vulnerable and letting the mask down. Because I very much, it was the part of like Desdemona. I was Desdemona, like the chick who marries Othello, right? Anywho, um, and I guess in this scene, I could very much relate to how Desdemona was feeling. So I was just kind of letting it all out there, Pisces vibes. And he was the only one who picked up on it because there's some sort of authenticity in that guy. He was just real. It was now I appreciate. Back then, I thought he was. Oh, why is Kilby? See, I'm using everyone's names, eh? That's not good. But why is this person being like this? But it's a good thing. And there's another story too, but too many stories. He's the only person when I reflect back, who really saw me past the mask, understood that there was something else there. Like even my voice, he's like, "Why are you speaking in such a high register?" It was much higher than how I'm speaking now. He's like speak from your, like, that's not what you sound like. But he was the only person who, and now with this Aries Libra thing, I'm seeing the benefit of that. I very much moved through life believing that you just want to be polite, you want to be nice, right? People always talk about it, but again, all up here that I was understanding about, oh, you don't want to be nice, like, but I wasn't understanding in terms of how I feel and move in my world. So I was like that. I always thought, no, you want to be nice. Like even my mom, she's always saying like, she'll say, Nigerian parents, they'll be saying things to you. So my mom, she'll say something that I'm like, how? Why did you say that to me? Or she'll say something like that about one of my siblings or whatever. And she'll always say, if family can't tell you this thing, who will? Like she's always saying how family's there to tell you the stuff you need to hear, even if it hurts you, because you're just going to go out there and embarrass yourself because no one else is going to tell you that. If family can't tell you, who can tell you? You can't, no one else will. And she's even saying that about friends. She's like, you want friends who are going to tell you what's what. You don't want ones who are just going to be nicey nice with you and let's just have a nice conversation, because they're not real friends. And I was like, yo, mom, true. I didn't believe it at the time, really, in my heart, because my heart wasn't ready to. But I feel like that's more aligned with the truth of my personality, or not even my personality. That's not even true. The truth of who I am. Like, I think that's true. I think that's truth, what my mom said, yeah? And how Kilby behaved in a way. There was an authenticity in it. And so with this Aries Libra thing, I'm seeing that. I'm going to come back to that initial story with that guy who was in my top 5 of friends. He wasn't actually in my top 5 of friends because I was using a mask when I was around him. So when I saw him outside of, work hours, because, I must have created a sort of vision and understanding about this is when I see these people, and I saw him outside of it. I freaked out because I wasn't prepared. My mask, because I wasn't expecting to have to wear it. So I was like, this is too much for me, too much chaos. That's how stressed I was, right? So many of us are in these kind of situations, really. That's why we need to do things to like get help for ourselves, right? And contemplate what's going on with our heart. That's the only way I was able to start seeing all this stuff, is because I've been working on opening my heart, So anyways, it was just too much for me. So I just had to like dip emotionally. Like, so I just kind of diverted my eyes. Like, I couldn't handle it because I don't have my mask. This isn't a real relationship. I don't know what you want from me. And I'm not ready to give it right now. Come back when we're open between 11 and 6, Mondays through Thursdays. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe. And it was the same thing with my boss. She was a wonderful woman, and I wasn't meant to at that time. And it's important that that didn't happen at that time. Everything happens for a reason when it happens at a certain time. But if I saw that woman again, that woman who was a boss at my workplace, and she was a lovely person, I would want, for the sake of myself and also for her too, have a nice real connection with someone, I would do my best to like just be myself around her. You know what I mean? And sometimes it doesn't go well, right? People don't like you. That's the thing with people pleasing, right? When it's a shadow side of Libra, we want everyone to like us. I've got Mercury in Libra and a few other things happening, so it's a pretty, it's a vibration that I carry, even though it's not like the main one. But in terms of communication, definitely. So because I want everyone to like me, I'm not being myself, right? Because I don't want to face the rejection of someone not liking me. But it's cool because then you're going to meet the people who are so authentic in how they are with themselves and how they're being, maybe not so authentic. They're not the most authentic people in the world, but they're so much more authentic than, the shadow side Libra person, right? And so they become that shadow that I'm seeing of someone who's like, I don't really like you. I don't want to be around you. It obviously wouldn't happen as much. People saying, I don't really like you. That wouldn't happen. And it didn't. It didn't happen as much as if I hadn't been wearing my mask. But it still happened because I can't keep myself from experiencing those experiences, because the way that I was behaving, and still to an extent am behaving, is not aligned with who I am, my truth, authenticity. It's a lie. I'm lying every day. And so meeting these specific people who would kind of push that button, and I got Chiron there, right? That button of, no, I'm not buying it. You're fake. I don't trust it. You know what I mean? And they were really upfront with it, either through words or vibes or eyes. and it hurt me so much, man. It's good. It was just picking at that Chiron wound that would never heal, because I didn't want to deal with it. And at least I'm starting to deal with it. And they're a blessing. I can see that now. Those people are all a blessing that I've had in my life. There's going to be more of them. Hopefully it's not painful. It probably will be painful. But I have to remind myself that they're a blessing, getting me to be more authentic and just speak. You know how they say, like, speak from your chest, like really like mean it. You know what I mean? Like do something, not do something, but you know what I mean? So, yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. So yeah, hey man, this whole eclipse business is helping me see what that wound is about with the whole Aries Libra vibe. You know what I mean? And whenever I thought my thing was that I have to learn how to speak gently and softly. And I think I do, because I can when I'm in that space. I just came out of meditation, feeling really good inside, connected with myself, connected with, God, right? But I think it's good for me to at least just to see this. Man, this is cool, this whole authenticity thing. And then eventually I'll relax. And my voice can get, softer and gentler and more meditative, but in a natural way, an authentic way. And that'll be like the best of both worlds, right? Worlds. Yeah. So, yeah, Libra scales balancing the self, Aries, and the other, Libra. Yeah, that's cool. Libra's an awesome sign, bro. We just have to get out of the people pleasing. Because Libra stands for truth and justice and beauty. And what's more beautiful than truth? Nothing. When something's real, man, it's beautiful. So that's my goal, right? Yeah. Um, wow, this has actually been like super fun. I enjoy this so much. And I'm also see, I didn't initially, usually I would never show all this because I'm like, ew, it doesn't look pretty, right? But that's fake Libra. This is authentic and real because it's not about what's happening on the outside. It's about what's being shared. Yeah. So, that's also a step in a good direction with me. Got this like cord out. What even is happening? You know what I mean? It's good. It's very good.